live. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. Today I'm joined by several members of the O8 team, Seth, Andy, and Tyler, and we're going to be talking about all things HubSpot, which is an awesome inbound marketing, sales, and service software. We use HubSpot here at O8. I'm in it in my day-to-day work life, love it, it's super useful, and we recommend it as a great tool to all of our clients. So we just want to tell you a little bit about it, how we use it, and the benefits. First things first, I guess we should just talk about really what differentiates HubSpot from other CRMs in the market.
Yeah, well, it's extremely usable. That's the thing that always comes to my mind and a lot of people's minds who use it. That just makes such a difference in getting your team up to speed, and frankly, getting adoption across your team. So that's huge. Also, they have a great training resources library. Getting up to speed on HubSpot is not only easy because of the user experience, but because of the great materials that they provide you for training. What else?
I'll echo that. The HubSpot Academy, the courses that they provide are extensive, and they go beyond just not only how to use HubSpot and get the most out of it as a platform, but they really do deep dives into digital marketing and how, successful execution, best practices, key concepts. So it's very, very comprehensive. It's great training and something that, and a good amount of it is actually available on their blog for free. And they make a lot of their courses, sort of top level courses, available at no charge. So it's definitely a resource worth checking out.
For me, the key differentiator is cost beyond the ease of use. HubSpot is really great, very extensible, and has a really nice pay-as-you-go model, or pay-as-you-grow rather, where you start out with the CRM for free, and you can tack on these hubs that they have, the CMS hub, sales hub, service hub, the marketing hub. So really you can tailor it to your needs quite nicely, and it allows for really tight integration across those products.
You just mentioned all of the different hubs within HubSpot, and it really is an all-in-one platform, but let's try to break it down, how it can fit into your business and a few of its primary capabilities. Can you walk me through some of those, maybe starting with the website marketing hub?
Yeah, I can do that. There's the traditional website marketing hub where you get their blog, or you can use your own blog, landing pages, emails, automations, and workflows. They've also launched a new CMS hub, which is kind of not necessarily a replacement, but an addition, an enhancement to that piece. Some of the pieces I assume are going to substitute, but it's really an enhancement for the marketing hub. And then there's the sales hub, where you've got a CRM and the deal pipeline and various features for your sales team. And then a service hub for customer service and ticketing.
And all of those are essentially running with the same, off of a common database, right? So as you're bringing people through your marketing program and they convert, become leads, and they're nurtured along through sales programs, and then they move over into support, it's all integrated. You have the complete history from a CRM of that customer. And so you have the ability to start to really assess their lifetime value and understand their history. New people come into your organization, they need to deal with that customer or that sales lead, and all the information is there in the CRM.
I do want to talk more about that because we like to use HubSpot really for our closed loop marketing efforts here at O8. So first and foremost, can you define closed loop marketing for me, Andy? And then let's talk about how we use HubSpot for it and why it's important.
Sure. So closed loop really what it comes down to is understanding how someone goes from the customer journey from an unidentified visitor or someone who's out potentially looking at your marketing channels, search, social, etc., through your website or through your other marketing channels, and ultimately converts becomes a lead, gets nurtured, and then becomes a customer. And at a certain point, then you can attribute if they get to the very bottom of the funnel, and you can attribute revenue to them, then you want to be able to close the loop. You want to be able to answer the question, okay, great, this person or their company, and there might have been several people involved, they just became a client of mine. So now that's generating X amount of revenue. Where did they come from originally? Can we trace that all the way back to the first touch? So I know which channels were effective. Was it that, was it the ad campaign that I did? Was it my social campaign? Was it an email blast that I did? What actually was the beginning of their journey? So being able to completely close the loop means having the appropriate tagging and campaign tracking in place so that you are able to essentially follow that lead all the way down through the funnel until they become a known customer, and then link that back to the original. So by closing the loop means going back and being able to do final attribution, and therefore then you've got a pretty good idea of which campaigns were effective, which channels were effective. That's really core to being able to calculate true ROI.
HubSpot also, with its built-in reporting tools and dashboards, makes visualizing that really, really easy, especially if you're integrating with the common ad platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Ads. Makes that really, really just drop dead simple to see what's actually driving value. And provided that you have the different kind of steps set up within HubSpot, you can also watch those progress from contacts to leads to MQLs to SQL opportunities, and then actually close deals.
And is this difficult to set up all of these steps you're mentioning? Should you bring in an agency partner? Can you do it internally? Do you really need a strategy for it? Talk to me about that.
I think the determined business owner could probably go about this on their own, but it's going to take them a really long time and a lot of learning to do. HubSpot, like we said, is very user-friendly, and they have a really great set of documentation out there. So you could probably get the bare bones by yourself. Really, where you're going to start to see the value add from involving a partner is going to be in closing that full loop, like Andy was just talking about, helping you to optimize each of the steps along that way. And just really shorten the time span to getting that final goal of closed loop marketing in place.
HubSpot is like opening up, if you were an artist, it's opening up this amazing palette of all sorts of beautiful colors that you can paint with, and you can kind of to just pursue that analogy, whether that's email marketing or whether that's going to be social marketing or search or organic search SEO. You've got all of this palette of colors that you can expose, but you still have to know what kind of picture you want to paint. You want to have an end goal of what this is going to look like. And this is where having an agency partner is really valuable. Someone who's been there, done that, has ground truth about how to assemble all of these pieces, how to paint with all the colors, and which colors you want to use and which colors you don't, and how to get your picture, up on the canvas as opposed to some generic picture. So that is also really important.
Yeah, and I mean, HubSpot has the potential to be just kind of like the all-in-one for you. With it's got the CRM obviously, but with the CMS add-on through the CMS Hub, it can serve as your website and your CMS platform. It can serve as the central hub for your marketing to replace tools like Hootsuite or Buffer. But there are limitations to those hubs that HubSpot offers. And really where the wealth of data and the potential comes from HubSpot is through its really vast suite of integrations. It has a really powerful API and lots of pre-baked things where you can hook into a million different tools. Maybe don't quote me on a million, but lots of different tools. And so, you can really then take a look, step back and say, what is the best approach? Like Andy was just saying, develop a strategy, not only for your marketing, but also for your MarTech stack. to think about, is HubSpot going to be the best tool for all of these different needs? Or is there something out there that's going to be better suited for my specific use case? What that is, and then how do we best integrate that with our CRM and these other tools that we have? HubSpot really acts as like literally the hub for all of those different things, sending all that data back and mixing it up into your CRM. So it really almost then becomes a data aggregator on top of it, and truly would serve as then the source of truth for your company's user or customer experience moving forward.
Yeah, so let's talk about that more, because I was going to ask, HubSpot sounds like it can do all the things, but does that mean I can get by with HubSpot alone with no additional CMS, CRM, or analytics applications? And it sounds like you're saying no, maybe it depends, but there's these available integrations, and we talked about a MarTech stack. So maybe Andy, you can elaborate a little bit more on a MarTech stack and what that looks like, and go from there.
It's filling out the dance card for all of the marketing tools that you want to use. And HubSpot can be, I mean, again, we've listed several of them. You want a CRM, you want some way that you can, a central database that serves as that source of truth that identifies a lead, a prospect, an entity, and then tracks their journey to becoming potentially a qualified lead and ultimately a customer. And definitely HubSpot can sit at the core of that. There are other obvious, CRMs. People use Salesforce. On the marketing side, they might use Pardot. We have clients who use that as well. We have found that HubSpot is extremely user-friendly and very well integrated between its sales and marketing and service hubs. So as a core, yes. That said, there are other tools that are real standard in the industry and that HubSpot is set up to integrate well with, Google Analytics being one of them. I mean, to use HubSpot without Google Analytics would be like flying blind, or at least flying partially blind. And then by extension, you would also want to bring in Google Search Console, because why wouldn't you want as much organic search data as Google is willing to freely share with you? So there's that aspect of it. There's ad platforms, obviously, sort of the big ones, Google Ads, Facebook, LinkedIn, et cetera, that easily integrate with HubSpot and will feed into that. And you can manage those campaigns from within HubSpot, or you can manage them from within the platforms. There's a lot of accessibility. Also, HubSpot provides modules like landing pages. So you could decide, for my campaigns, I'm going to build my landing pages in HubSpot because it's super easy for my marketing people to then just clone them and create new ones, and all of the forms and CTA, calls to action and widgets and so forth, already integrated, already tracked. So again, HubSpot really wins out there, but there's nothing that says that if you have a need to custom design your landing pages, you can't do that. I think the key to HubSpot is that it will do most of the things that you really need to do, but it is very, very flexible, and it actually shines as part of an integrated stack of search, social, and marketing tools that essentially can add on, plus analytical tools such as Hotjar, for example, to see what's going on with your pages. Whether you use it as the CMS, or whether you use an open CMS like Drupal or WordPress, again, is going to be a choice about your website and the audiences you serve and the resources you have on hand to develop and maintain the site.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting as well for maybe more complex or larger organizations that if HubSpot isn't your main source of truth, there's also a Salesforce integration. Some companies use that as their even bigger source of truth, or the brain of the organization. So that's important to note too. Anything else on this topic?
What's really the difference between Salesforce and HubSpot?
Oh, that's a different webinar, but no, it's, Salesforce can be the brain of your entire organization, right? Like, it's so complex and customizable that it just goes beyond the scope of HubSpot. HubSpot is the source of truth for your sales and marketing. It's a bit more limited scope, or your digital experience, your customer experience, if you think about the customer service module. But it is more, you could say, limited in scope than Salesforce.
Salesforce is a great tool for larger, more complex organizations. For the vast majority of SMBs, it's going to be overkill.
Yep.
And you're going to drain your entire budget on
Yes.
just fees associated with Salesforce. Like you're looking at tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for implementation and then ongoing licensing fees and things like that. Because it can do everything.
Right.
I mean, like it has integrations with Pardot for email and form management. It has its own website builder and its own e-commerce platform and integrations. That requires a team to support just the tool itself.
Yeah.
And then you have the users of the tool that need support. Like that's really for larger enterprise applications. We do see several SMBs who buy into it at some level, and oftentimes they're paying for a tool that they're using about this much of a much larger pie. And really, it's just kind of a shame because again, like you could be on a tool like HubSpot where you pay as you grow, and you don't have to buy in and shovel out thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars up front to get some really complex implementation that may not fit your needs in a year as you grow. So HubSpot is kind of like that starter to intermediate level, can serve the needs for the advanced level teams with the integrations there. But Salesforce really dips its toe into so many other things beyond just the CRM.
Okay, makes sense. So I do want to go back to kind of closed loop marketing and talk a little bit more about that because we just put on our website, 08.agency, a great resource guide that really elaborates on that. So if you're interested, go check it out. But let's talk about the buyer journey more. Andy, you touched on that a little bit and how HubSpot can actually identify weaknesses in the buyer journey. Tell me what that looks like. What type of data points do you see or how can you identify those weaknesses?
Well, again, as Tyler mentioned, you can identify, you can set up campaign funnels, you can set up visualized reports that show you what are your conversions at every single level. And you can do this a couple of different ways. One is you can track a particular campaign and you can literally just go column by column and watch as people march through this. And you can see what your conversion percentages are and what the drop-offs are. At each stage, how many of your contacts become leads, how many of your leads go to marketing qualified leads, how many of your marketing qualified leads go to sales qualified leads, and so forth. So it provides you some very good options for tracking all of that. And you can also then further provide assign attributes and properties to contacts and customers. So you can start to do some analysis over which ones are actually moving forward and which ones aren't. And that's particularly powerful when you combine it with a tool like Google Analytics, which knows everything about what's going on your website. So it's that combination of things that allows you to follow somebody through their journey from essentially unknown visitor to lead to customer.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting on the sales end of the cycle that, of course, HubSpot's a CRM, so it allows you to see where deals might be falling off or not converting at a certain stage of the sales cycle. So that's important too. Lots of custom reporting, lots of, baked in default reporting, but the custom reporting is fairly flexible and robust.
We talk a lot with our clients about macro versus micro conversions. And one thing that HubSpot does really well, again, provided that you have like the qualifiers for MQL versus SQL and you're using deals, it works really well at tracking those macro conversions at the point of lead acquisition through that buying journey. And then if you are choosing to use the ticketing and things like that on the Service Hub side of things, it does a really great job of tracking the macro conversions for existing customers as well. It doesn't do such a great job though of tracking the micro conversions. And with our clients, we create these KPI documents where we break down kind of like the the macro conversions and micro conversions into key metrics and then diagnostic metrics. And a lot of times we look at the micro conversions as diagnostic metrics. If we see something is going on that we don't like with the big numbers, those macro conversions, we can zoom in to the micro conversion level on a diagnostic basis to say, okay, what's going on here? Why is this landing page really, we're seeing such a bad drop off? And that's where some of those other tools that Eddie was talking about, like Google Analytics and Hotjar, where they integrate with HubSpot, those can then provide you with that really robust reporting beyond just the macro conversions that HubSpot does really great out of the box. And at that diagnostic level is really where you can unlock the key insights to really start to dig into what is the weakness here. Like once you've identified the weakness, what is causing this? And more importantly, what can we do to fix it?
So it sounds like a super powerful tool. And it's also a really great, sorry, it's also a really great time saver. I do both sales and marketing here at 08. So talk to me about the automation efforts.
As far as so
email sequences.
Yeah, it's got a very configurable and robust automation infrastructure or architecture. So, changing lead scoring based on parameters, to sending emails based on form submit, to updating contact properties and all that good stuff. It's all there for you. What else to add on that, folks? Anything else?
The thing for me that's the differentiator here is, a lot of other tools can do the drip campaigns. They can do, the funneling someone into those based on, their acquisition source and things like that. But what not a lot of other tools do is actually then tie that back into people processes. So you can be triggering manual follow-ups by creating a task for your SDRs on the backside of a contact. Right. So, the person submits the form, they get the email, they take the next step. And if there's no follow-up, you can trigger a task to be created and assign that to your SDR to follow up, to help reduce, friction and things in that process and make sure that these potential new clients aren't dropping off at certain points. So that's really where I think the magic of HubSpot happens, is it connects those marketing pieces with the actual process and people to make you really like truly personalizing a lot of these efforts, where other tools they can't do it.
I really appreciate the personalization capabilities of HubSpot. Do you have anything to add to that, Seth or Andy, before we wrap it up?
No, just really, like Tyler was saying, it brings together sales and marketing. That's a thing that people always talk about, but it's really a beautiful, easy to use tool, highly effective, that brings together sales and marketing. That's one of the main reasons why we love it.
And on top of that, it's cost effective, which is a big win.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. And remember, everyone, you can check out our resource guide on our website, and we're always here to answer any more questions. We can give you a demo, anything you're interested in about HubSpot, let us know, and we'll be back on Friday. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.